Hey everybody, it's Rob from the Rant, and I've got another 5-minute review for you. And this time on 5-minute reviews, I'm going to be talking about Gravity Rush Remastered for the PS4. Now, originally this was a PS Vita title, but clearly it must have done well enough that they decided to port it to the PS4, and you know what? It translates really well. First and foremost, the graphics. The graphics were always this kind of stylized anime-esque looking type deal, so it translates really well. There isn't, as far as I can tell, there isn't any like distortion or anything like that. So visually, pretty good game. They're not over the top like super realistic, of course. You know, anime style graphics are a bit cartoony, but it's good. I enjoyed it. I thought the aesthetics of everything were really cool, and I liked that in the 4 major maps of the game, they all have a very different look to them, and it's just 4 different parts of the main city essentially. So I thought they did a really good job on that. High marks for that. Alright, part 2, we'll say, is the control scheme, which I think works really well. It's a simple control setup. You have a button to activate your powers, a button to turn them off, and, you know, a button for secondary abilities, and then, you know, your standard controls of, like, punch, kick, and jump. You know, nothing terribly complicated. Anybody, I feel, can pick it up and get into it. I only have 2 little marks to... They're not really... I'm not subtracting points, but I will make notes of them. First off, because it was on the PS4 at this point, they, I guess, decided to make use of the motion control system that is built into the controllers. My opinion, it made it more difficult to play by having that on. Fortunately, there is an option that you can do which adjusts the sensitivity of the motion sensor, so you can turn it all the way down so it doesn't work at all, which, you know, helped tremendously, made the gameplay a lot easier. And the only other part that I would mention, again, not taking marks off, is this is one of those games where the camera is sort of out of your control when you're doing, like, the powers of the character, which, in case none of you are familiar with the title, the main character, Kat, has the ability to adjust how gravity affects her. For instance, gravity normally pushes you towards the ground. When you're playing as the main character, you just point your camera up and activate your powers, and all of a sudden gravity pulls you towards the sky. So whenever you're using your powers actively like that, the camera kind of jumbles around on its own. It's not like shaky or twitchy. It's just the perspective will shift around kind of based on what's going on in the game, and you don't have so much control over it. You kind of can just pan the camera around a little bit, you know, left and right kind of deal. So I feel like for some people that's either going to be off-putting or maybe kind of give you motion sickness or something like that. For me, it was mostly just annoying, but it's a small mark. It doesn't make the game impossible to play, and most people, I think, will get used to it really quickly. So that's the note on that. Thirdly, the story in there is a real fun story, classic type of story about, you know, a hero who has no memory of their past, is put in a situation where they can help, and they do. It's as simple as that. And you know what? Sometimes it's good to have a good old school simple storyline. And that's basically the gist of it. The main character, Kat, just kind of wakes up in this city, has no memory of how she got there. You know, monsters appear and she saves some people, and it just keeps branching out from there. So, story, simple, good, clean, old school fun. And last but not least, this is a new category which I decided to add in because, you know what, I think it makes sense and it's relevant. Trophies/achievements. Granted, I don't think this is on the Xbox. I'm pretty sure it's a PS4 exclusive, but here we go. The trophies in the game are actually all doable. Like, if you look at them, some of them are a little tough, but it's totally within the possibility that you can get them. I don't know about you guys, but that actually matters to me sometimes, because there are certain games that if I enjoy them enough, it just becomes a part of the game, and I want to get all the trophies. I want to get the platinum for it. This is one of those titles where you have to work for it, but it's doable. Nothing felt all that impossible. In fact, the most difficult trophy in the game for me was just exploring the city to find these 2 characters that have a background story you have to hear about. That was it. Other than that, everything else you know what? It wasn't that tough. We're not talking about like, get 1,000,000 points in 35 seconds without using your powers. It's nothing crazy like that. So, trophies doable. I think that adds to the fun. You know what? That's all I got on this title. It's a terrific game, and overall, I'm giving it a solid 4.8 out of 5. I'm only taking 2 little marks off for those couple of quirks I mentioned. I'm Rob, and this has been a 5-minute review brought to you by the Rant channel. Don't forget to check out our other stuff. We got more 5-minute reviews. We have our standard podcast, The Rant, that Josh and I do together. Josh also does the Versus series for the Rant channel. And of course, we have all of our previous gameplay streams recorded on our YouTube channel and saved for posterity. So, go check those out. Give us a like, subscribe, and thanks for listening. Bye-bye.